Hello, baby.
Who's crazy ones?
I'm thinking of a number.
Do you ever think about I was gonna say Dirty Sanchez.
Oh, that's the only thing I think about.
But that's about poop. It's not really about facial hair, right? That's kind of like
Yeah, but I think about it.
It's replacing
okay.
the area where.
When I was a
facial
kid,
hair-
we
That's
only
right, that's
had. When I was a kid, we didn't have Webster's. We only had the Urban Dictionary. So I think a lot about that. The Scoopy Scoop. You know what a Scoopy Scoop is?
No, I don't know. Can you tell me what that
It's
is?
when you scoop someone's butt, and that's the wackiest entry on Urban Dictionary. There's a bunch of things in my book. Like if you look up the name Gregory, it says like the most talented and like beautiful boy in Midvale High School. There's an entry for Jessica, and it says she has all the friends, but she's low key a bitch.
Oh, I remember that one.
How do you become? I want to become an editor at Urban Dictionary. I bet when they release the new words every year.
Yeah.
It must be pretty exciting to be the ones that they get to pick it.
Okay, I don't want this to be like a. You know how like you do horoscopes and like, oh, I'm such a Cancer. Okay.
Yeah. Did you look up your name on Urban Dictionary? Is that what you just did?
I did look up my name. Yeah. Ethan deals with a lot of things on the inside. He might seem like someone who brushed everything off, but he takes everything to heart. Be careful what you say. He has strong feelings. Check in on him. Yeah, it seems like it's me. And here's this. Ethan always seems so happy. How does nothing affect him? Yeah, that's true. But behind every smile is someone that has been hurt and left beaten. Very it's a very like that meme of the guy going like my lady, and he's got like a bunch of knives in his back.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those ones.
Well, see, this one is true for me. It says Spencer is a kind friend that isn't once in a lifetime. He's the kind of guy who will spend lifetimes working off a debt he knows was paid in the last life. Which is so true. I have many debts from past lives.
Yeah, how do you know?
And also, why am I working off a debt that I paid off in the last life? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
If I paid it off, it's paid off.
Yeah, you don't need to work it off anymore.
I must. What they're trying to say is I took out
a life debt.
I took out a loan in a past life, which is true. I went to a bank, and I took it out, and then when I was born, we received a letter. It's like, hey, this is from the first bank of the Ottoman Empire, and you were reincarnated recently, but you took out a loan from us, so you have to pay it off.
No, it's like when you sign the terms, and it's like you're like it's like, okay, sir, are you sure you're gonna be able to pay this off? Like, yeah, I will in the future.
Yeah, in the future, I'll see you in the future, Mr. Jones. It's Dr. Jones.
See you in the future, Dr. Jones.
No, he's saying see you in the future, Mr. Jones, because he's not a doctor yet. He hasn't got his degree.
He's not a doctor. Who you referring
Dr.
to?
Jones.
Dr. Jones.
So in this situation, I'm imagining Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, I see.
He succeeded in getting the
past
counselor's clock or whatever it's called, and then he went all the way back to the past before Indiana Jones had a degree, and then he was like, okay, now that I've done this, I'll see you in the future, Mr. Jones.
Yeah. Well, he should confuse him more by saying Dr. Jones. That way he's like, what are you talking about?
And that's what leads him to get his doctorate degree.
Oh, Indiana was a doctor in 1930 something. So why would he?
He's going back to the 1912 thing in
he's going back to the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
Yeah, he's going to go to Young Indiana Jones. He's going to hang out with Franz Kafka or whatever. I think that's like the only episode I've seen.
Do you remember the Amazing Spider-Man 2 scene where in the movie comes to a halt where Electro is captured by Oscorp and then he's being tortured by Dr. Kafka. I'm here
I
to
do
study
remember that.
you. And then he like tortures him with electricity, but it just makes him stronger. Yeah.
I like how they made
that.
Peter's parents like secret agents that bred him to be Spider-Man. That was so funny.
Like, I'm sure it's in the ultimate continuity. I just think it's still stupid. Like,
Yeah.
the whole idea is that he's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, not that he was like destined and like groomed to be the world's like best superhero.
We're gonna groom him to be Spider-Man.
The only thing I groom is my cats.
That's right.
That
I think there's
we're
just
insane.
there's
Meow.
that's right. I think there's too much child grooming and turning them into Spider-Man that's going on.
Why is Urban Dictionary saying get the Ethan mug? Does it do that for any name?
I think it's like almost any word. Like if you put in like the you know the poopy like fart face or something, if you punch that into Urban Dictionary, you can get a mug that says that. This one really quick, I just want to I kept the entry for Spencer is so long, so I'm not going to read it all, but there are a couple other choice things. Spencer is the kind of guy who leads armies and, which is one word, armies and, saves the girl even if he doesn't get her or want her. He's just a good fellow like that. His video game is more important than your day. He'll get to you after he fucks shit up.
He's a gamer.
That is so true. That is so true.
How about this one? Ethan, he is a complete god of everything. Here is it to use. Man, Ethan is the best thing ever. That actually might be the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that one right below it. A
I-
godlike figure.
This one just says, "I will hide you in my room so you don't have to go home," which is also a weird phrase.
I found mine.
Okay.
Mine's also pretty long. It's impossible not to love an MJ. They have an infectious personality, but a good one. Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, marijuana, mahjong.
Do you guys want to hear a quote about Spencer?
You got a quote?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a quote. "Hey, what's up? I love soccer. My name is Spencer. I love basketball too."
How about
That's
how about
everything
this
you
one?
got to know about me. This
Here's
one
a
just
good
says Spencer,
speech
not a
that
queer. What the hell?
Oh.
Yeah,
Here we go. What's up, Ethan?
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
That almost seems like we wrote it. Actually, that seems like something that we do.
Yeah.
This one says a great human who is literally so dank that he has never done anything
So dank.
better than the Dank Master. But this was submitted in 2020. Were people still saying like dank in 2020? I feel like that was more like a 2016, 2018 thing.
I think that's an evergreen like
Yeah.
internet slang.
Spencer's the
Here
best.
we
He has a
go.
larger
Hey,
penis
look,
than me, not to mention a super hot GF. And then
Hey,
Chuck
look,
Norris says,
perfection is
"Spencer, you
approaching
crazy
us."
motherfucker." Oh, sorry. What are you saying?
I said, look, perfection is approaching us. Oh, you mean Ethan?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I like
That's
Chuck
pretty good.
Norris. "Spencer, you crazy motherfucker. I'll beat you one day."
He'll beat you
He's gonna beat me one day.
in what?
I'm gonna beat you up.
In mahjong.
I don't know, maybe. Watch out when you're around Spencer, because he gets feisty, and we'll whip out that big schlong of his. What? Man, Urban Dictionary's wild. We should do a whole episode just where we look up words.
I wonder if like Sprezzatura is in there.
It probably is. I'm just gonna go to random word.
What if you clicked it and it was a jump scare because it's Halloween?
Oh, it's Five Nights at Freddy.
Get the Sprezzatura mug.
What does it look like?
Maybe. It just makes like the cup, and then it has the Urban Dictionary font, and then on the back of it it's the entire definition of whatever was written. And you can get this mug of any word in its definition for $32.95. That's kind of a lot of money.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone.
Welcome. E-Halls, really quick, is the state your bowel is in after enjoying a nice meal at E-Hall. And then the quote is, "Oh, man, I've got the E-Halls. Where's the toilet?"
How do you spell that?
Just E-Halls, E-H-A-L-L-S. I don't know. I think an E-Hall, is that like, that's just an eating hall at a university, I think?
Oh,
2010.
okay.
Do they call
yeah.
them eating halls? I don't think that's the word. That's not the phrase.
I've always
It's
called it
dining
the
hall.
Yeah, dining
Yeah.
hall or cafeteria. I feel like
Yeah.
that's kind of the whole thing.
Don't know.
Unless-
This is from 2010.
unless
Who
it's-
knows what these millennials were up to?
It's building E is where the cafeteria is. I don't know.
Oh, that could be it.
But then-
Oh, E Hall.
Yeah, but then that's-
like we're at E Hall.
That's like really specific, I think. So
Yeah. Welcome everyone to Style and Direction, a menswear podcast. Believe it or not, that
Believe
should be
it.
the new the new thing for this.
shout outs
Yeah.
to Ripley.
That's right. I am Ethan M. Wong.
I'm Spencer DSO.
And I'm MJ.
That's right.
That's right. Welcome to the show. We've got a good one for you, as my friend Jacques Clouseau. Good one.
Good
That's what he
one.
says.
Oh, classic hamburger.
Hamburger.
Hambar tart.
Yeah.
Hamburger.
Yeah, what's the password? Remember that? Anyway, today we're talking. This is a menswear podcast, but we're not talking about anything that you're wearing. I mean, can you wear hair? I guess what I'm referring to. I mean,
It's a
yeah,
wig.
because wool is hair, right? Like
Yeah.
sheep's. The hair of sheep
Not-
is
not-
wool.
But it's
not
and
your
you
hair.
Wear that.
We're talking about your hair. And only your
Yeah.
hair. We're not even
The
talking
one-
about our hair. We're just talking about whoever's listening to this. We're talking about your hair.
Yeah, we're in your phone right now.
Yeah.
This is an individually
send a
customized
pic.
episode. It's like that Mario 64 conspiracy. It's real.
What are you referring to?
Oh, it's a conspiracy that every copy of Mario 64 is individualized.
Is that a creepypasta?
And so it's some dumbass creepypasta thing, but it's like, yeah, everything has a little thing that's just in your game and nobody else's.
And it
Okay.
watches you.
And it watches you. And this episode is like that. Everyone plugging it into their phone, which is how you listen to podcasts. It's gonna scan your hair, and that's what we're talking about.
Do people listen to podcasts like on their desktop computer? I feel like that's weird.
I feel like I do, but with like the podcasts that are like videos or whatever.
The YouTube.
Or even if I'm like gaming, if I'm gaming and I have if I have something, I'll usually just have that on my desktop.
You listen to podcasts while you game?
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
okay.
I mean, I play a lot of games that don't, like, I don't know, a lot of sandbox games or whatever. It's easy. This is not an uncommon thing, I feel like.
okay.
I feel like
I
a lot
guess-
of people have talked about
I guess I mean
playing
in my
Red
head, it's
Dead
like I
and
can't
listening to
imagine.
podcasts.
I can't imagine just like
Well, because you also
like
you don't
playing, like,
listen to
Search and
podcasts
Destroy.
or music, unless you're like driving most of the time, right?
yeah, I don't have anything on in my room while I'm doing stuff. It's too stimulating for me. In fact,
Okay.
it's overstimulating.
Yeah.
I can't focus. I need
Mhm.
complete silence when
Yeah.
I'm doing stuff. But I can write. I like ambient stuff like at a coffee shop. I can write at coffee shops. I can read at coffee shops, but I can't be like listening to Comedy Bang Bang and trying to write an essay on how hair is an expressive part of our bodies and that we can leverage for our personal styles. I can't do that, believe it or not, Ripley.
Yeah.
So, but welcome everyone. Today we're talking about hair on the head and face. But I guess your
That's
head,
right.
your face is on your head. So I guess like when you
But
lose your
we
head,
wanna- we
you
wanna-
also lose your face.
We're clarifying.
Yes.
I feel like you
Yeah,
could
we're
just
not
say
talking about like styling your leg hair. Like that's not
hair
what
and
we're saying
facial
at all
hair. We're not
here.
We're not giving you a guide to puberty and your changing body,
But we would.
but we would.
That's why you have to join the Patreon, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's all satire. Just immediately backpedal.
That's a joke.
But yeah, we're talking.
No,
we're talking about
there's
hair.
there's a channel in the Discord that's about puberty. Don't lie. The Big Mouth channel.
Yeah. Hey, Siri, take me to the puberty channel, please.
Terrible.
But yeah, today we are talking
Yeah.
about hair, and I feel like this is something I never thought we'd talk about, but I think that we all all three of us have like individual. I mean, everyone has an individual hairstyle. Like that's not crazy, but like I think
everyone
that
has some way that their hair looks.
Yeah. Well, some people have. Okay, I mean, if you've seen like the Asian starter packs, some guys have the same hair. So technically, people don't always have this. Always have different ones. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was interesting because this is something we've never really talked about. But like I know that every blog has talked about this. I did kind of like menswear. Like I tried to find some stuff on like dye workwear. I think Derek's mainly written stuff on Put This On about it, and it's very basic. You know, it's like oh, think about your face shape, you know, or whatever. And I'm like, you know, and you look at like Gentleman's Gazette or like Alpha M, like all these people, like they all eventually talk about hairstyle because it naturally, with my little anti-capitalism brain on it, does lead to sponsoring grooming products. And so of course in order to hit that market, you need to have some content, which is, you know, the talking about hair of your head and your face.
And all these
I do
websites
think it's worth talking
about
like the styling part of it.
Yeah, all these websites talking about hairstyles, and I'm like, where are the websites that are talking about Harry Styles? No one's talking about him.
That's on Tumblr.com.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's called just Twitter, you know.
Yeah. It's actually called X now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I refuse to call it that.
Because now it says formerly Twitter. Like it doesn't even say like it's like X or Twitter. Like it's not.
It used
it's not
to.
Like a symbol for it.
I think they had to include that in there so people searching Twitter, the term still showed up in the metadata somewhere.
Isn't that crazy? It's like even from an SEO standpoint, that's the dumbest thing ever. You know,
it is really stupid.
Yeah, I
everyone
never really
knew Twitter. Everyone know what a tweet is. People don't know post. I've never heard that word before.
Yeah, that's so dumb. Yeah, going from a hyper specialized word to look at my X post.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about some hyper specialized
like
hair. There we go.
But okay, so something interesting about hair is that it's kind of like our conversation on glasses, you know, or sunglasses, where it's like it's something that you can add to your not to turn your body into a mannequin, but it's like it adds something to your
look,
whole holistic look, your aesthetic.
As we'll get into, it's gonna change. You know, if you are a person that's wearing like a nice suit or whatever, and you got like long hair, that's gonna have a different vibe than someone with a nice suit and like, you know, a really clean cut, you know, like high and tight, you know.
Yeah, or even just like wearing milsurp with like a big beard, and then wearing milsurp with like a clean
little beard
face. Yeah.
It
all says different things, and it's, you know, people don't talk about it as much, and we don't talk about it as much. I don't know exactly how I thought about it, but it's like, you know, looking back, like, yeah, my hairstyle has changed over the years. MJ's hair has certainly changed, at least not in the past 5 years, because apparently if I look back to 2019, it's still blonde as hell. So, you know,
blonde as hell.
And Spencer, you haven't really changed your look in like 5 years either. But I mean, the journeys that we've had to kind of settle into our looks, I think is also worth talking about. But yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of like an accessory. It's part of your body. It's kind of like, and to a certain extent, you know, I'm sorry, Spencer can't really do this, but the rest of us are able to style the hair that we have in multiple ways.
That's right.
If we had to, you know, if we could change it or not. Like I know, like MJ, you know, spikes it up. You know, he just also can be like, you know, he can do a middle part if he wants to.
Side part.
Right now, it's kind of swept to the side. For me, I mean, so I think, obviously, you know, Spencer is limited. I'm limited because my hair is not straight. But I think with straight hair, you can do a lot because, you know, you can be straight or you can curl it. But with my wavy hair, it looks weird if you straighten it. It's just weird. But the fact that you can kind of like, you know, try a bunch of different stuff is an interesting thing to think about when you talk about your style, because as people who do what we call forced versatility, where you kind of just make something work with everything else, you know, like, oh, wearing an OCBD with shorts, with a suit, with jeans, etc. Your hair, like you can force your hair to go with whatever you want. I mean, and again, MJ is a good example of that with his blonde hair, or Spencer wearing a beard. Naturally, every outfit is like a beard outfit, and that sounds weird, but you're gonna have
Every outfit is a beard
This
outfit.
is
That's
a
right.
beard outfit.
This is a beard kind of day.
I mean, if this was taking place in 2010, yeah, there'd be a beard outfit. It's called the lumber. Yeah, I even wrote it down.
The lumber.
Section.
We should get the mustache tattoos.
On our
On our
fingers.
Yeah, the finger mustache tattoos.
Well, what if I already have one?
Actually, hold on. We can innovate this. So the Joker hand laughing tattoo.
This one.
Yeah, where you put it over and it's the mouth laughing.
Yeah.
Okay, how about that? But it's just your regular neutral mouth with a beard around it, and you just put it right here.
You know how big your hand has to be to.
You could do both hands. You could do both hands.
So one hand will have only like a little bit on like the tips here, and it's like
Yeah. It's gonna be the weirdest tattoo ever. I've gone to 5 different places and no one's let me do it.
You have to pay your artist like $1 million to do that because
I know. They're gonna have
Would it
to
be
do
weird
some
if Bane
computer
had a
stuff to
beard?
figure out. I would love to see a beard sticking out of his mask.
is that like a?
Look at my mask. Look at my beard.
Look at my beard.
It'll be like the COVID thing where it's not a perfect seal, so he can't get like the venom or whatever. Like,
Is a perfect seal? Is a perfect seal getting 100 by singing "A Kiss from a Rose"
That's
perfectly?
Right. Yeah.
No, it's
getting 100 and like in what?
It's actually
Well, like
the
in
Animal
Magic
Olympics.
Sing, right? Like whenever they
okay.
rate you on one of those like things where it's just like you got 100 points on this. I don't even know how they
$1 million.
How do they do that? That's all. It's all fake. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's all magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all fake until someone does bad.
Yeah.
You know?
And then it's real.
But since hair has changed over the years, I feel like it's also given us a lot of stuff to work with. You know, kind of like classic menswear, right? Where like suits have changed, so like depending on what kind of suit you wear can mark you in an era. Just like your hair can also do that. For your body, I guess, or like it's kind of maybe it's like your personality, or like or like glasses. It's like if you wore like if you kept the IT glasses, like the 2008 glasses, and you kept those, and then you wore them with a like a 3-piece like Liverano suit, you'd look kind of weird because it's like this guy, his clothes are now, but his glasses are not. It's kind of like, and it's kind of interesting. Or like like if a guy, I mean, I guess mullets are back, but like I'm trying to think of like hair, like when you watch like in some shows where like like you have like a dad, or like in Seinfeld, right? Like you have a character with like an afro, maybe, I don't know, but like people like, oh yeah, he hasn't left a certain movement. That's always been played for laughs in like TV shows and even nowadays. I think like I got it now. Talk about hair. Talk about Indiana Jones from earlier. Kate Capshaw as Willie in Temple of Doom, where it's supposed to be like 1934 or something, but her hair is like 1985, or even like maybe like 1988, where it's like it's like kind of big and curly. Like that's not what hair looked like in 1934. I don't care, Spielberg, if you thought Kate Capshaw was hot, that you were gonna divorce your wife for her.
Yeah.
But that hair,
I gotta divorce my wife.
It's all about all about showing your eras and like your personality and everything. And so, yeah, it also as people who also like grew up getting into vintage, I think we also kind of thought about how our hair plays into it. And I remember like you would see it in the vintage movement, where like some guys would do like period mustaches and slicked hair. Then you'd also get the people who may have been like hipsters or so who got into vintage, and they would be wearing like a 3-piece vintage suit, but then they'd have like a very like lumber sexual beard, or like a very very stylized like hipster mustache with like the pomade, like kind of Dali style or whatever.
Big ass pompadour.
Yeah, but yeah, what was interesting for me, I mean, again, when I was younger, I was like, why would you do it if it doesn't make any sense? But like, yeah, they do like a big pompadour either in the 50s stuff, or they would, you would show them like they would wear a 50s pompadour, but like wearing 60s clothing. Like people just like different things, and I think hair is another way to kind of show what you're into.
Yeah.
Which is very, very interesting. And I think maybe before or like pre hashtag Menzer, it might have been seen as odd. But now that we have, a world where you can wear whatever you want and kind of express things with different stuff, it's kind of a fun idea to think about. Okay, how can I change my hair to either play into the vibe or subvert it? And I think it's kind
Yeah.
of more accepted, or at least we accept it now. We're not sticklers. We're not hair
We're not stickers.
uh, Nazis.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just sticky.
Am I? Yeah.
I'm just sticky.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else do you guys think about hair? What has your experience been by seeing other people and everything?
Well, for me, I mean, we kind of touched about it before when you were talking about glasses, how it's like another way to add add another style or expression to ourselves, to our outfits.
Yeah.
Uh, Glasses are we need them to see, at least Ethan and I do, or or contacts. But hair also, it's part of our body, so like it doesn't necessarily count as, right. We're not like Lego guys. We're just you know, um,
Yeah, you got to work with what you got.
yeah. So it's like it is part of our style, but also it doesn't like count as like an accessory slot or whatever you want to call it on our face in some way.
Accessory slot.
Yeah. But I like how, it's something that's so easily changed, and it could change the vibe like, instantly from style to style, fit to fit. And it kind of like, it's gives form of individualism for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, once you start thinking about it, like how your hair plays into your individual style can be its own individual like move, and I'm not trying to. I don't want to say like there's like one best hairstyle, just like there isn't one best outfit, but there is a little bit of like cohesion or an amount of subversion that kind of makes more sense. I think today we're seeing like a lot of like mullets and stuff, like the modern mullet, and like that being having that play into the the rib tank with the Dickies and everything, or even like kind of like edgy Albert looks, kind of just makes sense. But then I can't imagine these outfits that are popular today being worn with like the extreme undercuts of like the middle of the 2010s. Like it is kind of interesting to like think in that way of like how things work together. And that also brings to mind like there might be some haircuts that are just kind of like overplayed and kind of like kind of cringe or whatever. And even when something is like agnostic, like I remember, this is no offense to like, if we think about how your hair fits in with your clothes, there are some hairstyles that kind of work with everything. But then if you had like and his like very like I don't know, I don't even know how to describe hair. Like it's just like, is it a side part? But like, it's like a very like
I
gelled
can't picture
down.
his hair in my head.
Yeah, it's like a side. It's just high and tight, kind of. It's just like it's very
kind of slicked, kind of.
I don't know. Like I guess you could put him in like 1950 and he'd look like the exact same guy, which I guess is a testament to some people's hairstyles, right? To see like true versatility in terms of era. But if you were to put a guy like that wearing like Rick Owens, it would look really, really weird,
Well, again,
And-
I think I feel like what a lot of people do is they find a hairstyle that looks good on them, and then they just kind of stick with that for years and years and years, especially men who don't change up their hair as often, I think. But I don't know. I think that you can, like you were talking about playing into your outfits with your hairstyle, but I think subverting it and doing something that you wouldn't necessarily expect is also like valid, I guess,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not gonna sit here and like I guess defend the super cheesy like Max Landis style like fucking undercuts from like 2015 or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like if someone like if that's the best the best way to make them look good, like if that's the best hairstyle for them,
Yeah.
Well, what does
You know,
that what
I
does
get
that
it.
mean? Like, what does that mean, best hairstyle for you? Because, like, when we talked about with like glasses, right? We kind of said how like face shape doesn't really matter. It's kind of about how
Hmm.
big the glasses themselves are. Like, I can wear round. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm it's biased for me, but I think I look good even in round frames, even though I have a round face. But that's because mine are slightly bigger. Because if they were too small, it would look really weird to my
Yeah.
really round face, you know. And it's kind of like, we think about like hairstyles. Like, I know that people try and find like the one that works for them, and sometimes it usually means that like they found it like in the prime of their life. There's that like that cultural touch point that they just kind of stick to. Kind of like, again, like in shows like, or like not like George's dad in Seinfeld, who dresses in like 70s clothing all the time, like
Hmm.
he's found his style. And it's kind of like, maybe there's something here about hair where it's not just about like finding the hair that fits you at the time and sticking with it. I think it's kind of like who fits you as a whole, as a person, that can hopefully stick with you. And maybe it's because now that we're in a world of like the internet where we can look back, we need that like time to pass to find out if something is worth sticking with. Like, I think the mullet now, the postmodern version, like, again, like not the original like late 80s 90s mullet, but like the current one, there's something about it that seems more contemporary that kind of works, which is the reason why guys wear it with a bunch of different outfits nowadays,
Well,
or like
because I
why
think
like the
it's
bald guy
just
with the
that
beard works.
well, I think the mullet came back because like the aesthetics that were associated with the mullet in the '80s came back too. So like kind of the scummy, like cut off jean shorts with cowboy boots and like a fucking like ratty T-shirt or something. Um, when I spent like a week in Texas this summer, I saw like fucking half the population of Austin, like half the male population of Austin was dressed like that with a mullet.
All the young
And
guys
yet,
out there.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, it looks slightly more contemporary because they're wearing like modern clothes. But I still think there's a pretty like a clear through line from the mullets that people were wearing in like the late 70s and 80s or whatever and what people are wearing now.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I think with nowadays being like a mix, because like, we're not just rehashing the 70s. We're not just rehashing the 80s. There's like a little bit of contemporary approach to these styles. I think that kind of plays into it. Just like people's faces are different nowadays, right? Like the kind of like the current, like the 2020s guy face,
Hmm.
or whatever. Like, I think people have talked about that with like when people like do shows, like that person does not look like they're from the 70s or something like that. And I think there's something interesting about like that combination of like, again, the face, the physique, like these physical looks of the kids of today, that work with like that kind of hair that's kind of anachronistic but still works in a contemporary way. Just like how like nowadays, like the way we wear clothes is not inherently 70s. It's just, like there's people are doing new takes on clothing, and so all that to say, I feel like it really does kind of like put a wrench in the old idea, for at least from classic mentor blogs, that there is like one like perfect hairstyle like that you can just wear all the
Yeah, I
time,
know, of course. I
you
think
know.
I think everyone. I don't know. I don't even know if there's like I don't think that there is one hairstyle that everyone has hidden inside them that mathematically, is going to look the best or something.
Optimized hairstyles for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And it's certainly not going to be the same for everyone, but I don't know. Like, yeah, I think it's good to experiment, try to figure out what works with you. And I don't know. I don't think there's if it looks good and it's not just like obviously overly trendy and something that's going to be like really dated. Like, you don't carve the current year in the back of your head or something.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's an interesting
um,
thing about like what is like overly trendy. Like, I think it's really tough to think about like what exactly will not come back, because we've seen stuff come back, right? Like the 90s, has come back, 80s, 70s, 60s, obviously, and of course, we kind of send up the 30s and 40s and 50s. But like, it's hard for me to think that like just like the J Crew, like the old J Crew outfit, even though it's like the standard now still, like of like the mall brands of like, like the slim fit 2-button suit, but like as
mhm.
like the look, I think is really tough to think about as coming back. And in that same way, I'm like the like the Fury undercut. right? Like
That's right.
the
Yeah.
Brad Pitt one that was very trendy, Peaky Blinders hair. Like I think today the most people who are wearing that are like usually guys who really like the 20s, you know, and they kind of like lean into that the most. It's kind of like settled into its vintage roots, as opposed to, you know, now like where the mullet look nowadays. People wear it even if they're not wearing like the 70s stuff, right? Like it's still like
Mm.
even like I feel like an archive guy or like a designer guy, you could still people are still wearing like the mullet nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I
You
mean,
know, and
Zoomers and Gen Alpha, they love the mullet too. The
yeah.
the kids, they can't get enough of that shit.
I wonder if we'll ever look at it like back at as like, you know, like this version as bad. And I don't mean that to be like the whole like, oh, you know, to be idealistic here, but like because it's not new,
Mm.
I wonder if that plays into this whole thing. You know, like the mullet didn't exist until like the 80s or whatever. Just like, you know, like the undercut wasn't really a hairstyle until I don't know, like the fucking 1900s or whatever. Like that fucking look.
I don't know, I feel like then you would. It's just whenever haircutting technology developed, so you could get that contrast.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like have we? It's kind of like culture now, right? We're like it's
Yeah.
static, right? Like again, like the craze, like the newest hair that's trending is a
The newest
hairstyle
hair.
that was big, like 30, 40 years ago. Like it's not like the undercut
People
where
are
like no
raving
one.
about the newest hair.
Yeah, but I guess that's the same thing with the undercut too. Where the undercut kind of was inspired by like the 1920s and everything.
Hmm. Yeah.
Everything is
But anyway,
everything.
I just want to say there's no like perfect hairstyle, especially with, you know, with the face. I think the perfect hairstyle is the one that it does frame your face. I think it can play into the face shape that you have. I don't think that's like, oh, you can't have this because you have a heart shaped face. I think that's so stupid. You know,
Yeah,
um,
someone tell Nirvana.
yeah, Kiss from a Rose. But you
Yeah.
also can't. I also think it's gotta fit like your vibe. You know what I mean? Like I think it'd be really funny if like you were, and this is no offense to any nerds out there, but like imagine like you're like a really big nerd, but you've got like you got like a faux hawk or something. Although I guess
Hmm.
maybe nowadays a really big nerd would still keep a faux hawk from like 2010 or no, not even
Yeah.
like 2005. I think, you know,
Yeah.
like Ross or Siler's hair. You know. But yeah, I mean, hair is like a bit of attitude. I think having hair that can have attitude that you can like play with. I don't think you have to like change your hair every single day, but like it should be like this kind of malleable thing that can like work with a lot of stuff. You know, I think um you know, like it's like clothes. Not saying that again, like not saying that you have to buy a bunch of clothes, but like that at least you can combine what you have to like make a vibe that you like,
Yeah.
that kind of fits you. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, it's like a cap. I mean, again, if glasses were the previous thing, hair is kind of like hair and facial hair is like the last thing that you can do to add again like a little bit of like that extra expressiveness to yourself and play into your vibe. You know, um, and I feel like people they really do the best people kind of like, you know, can kind of play into it. I think like, you know, like Ethan Newton or even like Spencer, like, you know, like you guys are you know, you have a very gruff look because of the shaved head and like and the beard, but of course you guys are both nice guys. You're not gonna fucking beat
Scary.
everybody up or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna remember that Urban Dictionary thing.
that's
I'm gonna
true.
whip out my big schlong and fuck shit up.
Yeah, there you go. Um, but yeah, I think it's like it's just fun to kind of try and kind of, you know, find whatever that is. But I also don't think that once you've found it, and we are in our late 20s now, I feel like, yeah, we're not really gonna change our style or whatever. But the good thing is, I think
I'm gonna get big plugs and have Goku hair.
what if you get host versus graft disease?
Oh, that's actually my big fear.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Isabel hated that episode where she really cringed when he like runs his hands through his plugs and he like
Oh, man.
screams.
No.
It's
Yeah.
like, ah! She's like, I can't watch the episode. I think we did not finish that one because it's just so bad.
It's a pretty gross plot line.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also just a crazy plot line.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, what do you think? What do you think like a bad haircut is? Like if a good one is like one that kind of fits who you are, that's very nebulous. Like I guess it's just it doesn't fit who you are.
I think just a bad, I don't know, a bad haircut is like, yeah, I guess just one that like makes you look worse. I don't know. Like I feel like I don't that some people might disagree because like you might not just want to conform to standard conventions of attractiveness or whatever. But I don't know, like I feel like a bad haircut is just like the fucking like greasy nerd who doesn't wash his hair and doesn't think about it at all, you know?
The lack of a
Yeah.
haircut, maybe.
Yeah, I
Or
guess.
hairstyle. You don't have to cut it all the time. You can just
True.
style your
Yeah.
hair. You
Yeah.
know? What about like, what about like bad facial hair? I think that's probably easier to define, right?
Yeah, I don't know. There's the patchy ones don't look good generally. A lot of the really crazy mustaches, they're fun, but also like
It's kind of okay. Like yeah. It's
you
kind
have
of
to
like
you have to be
the.
really good at it to pull that off, I think.
I think I'm just like not a fan of it in general. Like I'm not. I'm like a naturalist, right? Like I'm kind of like like there's
You're
that
nude
guy
all
on,
the time.
yeah. Well, not completely. I'm not never. I'm
He
actually
wears
wearing cutoffs the whole time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think like I'm not a huge fan of like the overly gelled stuff. Just like I'm not a huge fan of like overly pomaded hair. Um, but it's kind of like yeah, with like suits. Like I feel like maybe this is why like I'm a trad. Like you guys listened to the episode about me right before this. But like I'm a very I guess yeah I'm a traditional guy. I don't really do anything crazy. Like I'm not gonna wear a suit that's like half a double breasted, half a single breasted. That's fucking crazy. Like I feel like with hair,
Is
like I'm
that
not.
can you construct that? What does that look like?
I've seen it. It's little one
Okay.
breast is single breasted, the other breast is double breasted.
That's crazy.
I don't think you can close it, but I think
Yeah.
it's just two sides of like front paneling.
just,
You know,
like,
you just
Huh.
That's crazy.
yeah. I mean that does make sense. Like you don't like they're not mutually exclusive. Like you can like there's a back seam. Like you do take two halves and you
There's a backside.
yeah.
And I'm
Um,
gonna hit your backside.
Oh boy,
My backside.
11 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, it's I think with like I'm not trying to do anything crazy, and so like I kind of also believe that like the most classic looks, and classic I mean like maybe sensible. I don't know. I don't want to sound like that kind of a guy, but like I think there's a lot of expression within like classic menswear, just like there's a lot of expression with your natural hair. I think you can get a lot of vibes, and maybe it's different if you think about it as like an artistic perspective. And now I'm going against what I always talk about, but like yeah, if you want to like push the limits of like your hair or like see how much pomade you could do for a crazy mustache, I think that's cool. Obviously, you don't know that if you're just seeing a guy on the street, um, but I think of it as in terms of I just want to express like a mood, and I feel like a mood can be done by just very like you don't have to go too crazy to like get a mood. I think silhouette is there. I think overly short hairstyles, unless that's what you're going for, like a buzz cut, I think can be cool, but like a very sensible regular haircut doesn't have any like it's agnostic, right? It's agnostic and like you just don't have anything.
I don't know. Like again, I don't know. I feel like this episode should be us trying to find which individual haircuts are good or bad. Because I don't think. Like again, I think that if you're not trying at all and you have if you look disgusting and have uncombed greasy hair, that's not going to be good. But other than that, like I said, I feel like if you're super clean cut, sure, that's like quote unquote, I don't like boring maybe if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like if that is someone's style and that's just like what they're going for, like it's part of their look. I don't think you need to. I don't think people should be concerned about like, oh my God, is my haircut too expected or like too boring or something. I think everything we've talked about this should be in service of looking how you want, and if you want to look like the like an extra on Mad Men or something, then I think that's fine.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's an intentional look. I think that's the difference right here. It's like in this it's that maybe realizing that sometimes the safe thing or what you would think is a safe thing is not actually in service of like your look. I think that's what I think people should just think about. Not saying, and sometimes they find out that it does work. I think guys like again like Spencer referenced like with Madrid like the vintage community who have like clean hair. I think it works, but it kind of works with like the whole thing. I think there's a difference between that and like trying to be like the most understated haircut
Mm.
as possible because like you don't want anything crazy, man. Like if you deviate from it, it'll freak you out. I think kind of diving deep into what actually works with the vibe we're going for is it.
So
And if
what?
you can,
So
and
what do
if
you
that
think?
answers that, I don't. Well, I don't. To your point, I don't think that there is a certain
Yeah.
thing, but I think that there are
Well,
things
do you,
that are not in service of it.
what do you think is the difference between the person who has reached nirvana and is like, no, this sensible side part is the perfect haircut for me, and I have thought long and hard about it, versus
I
the
think
person who is
it's
too scared to change it? Like, I don't know. I feel like both of those people are. It's kind of the same thing.
well, I mean that's why you talk to them, right? Like I think that's the difference. I think it's like again, like I think it's about whether you can put them in any situation and they'd look fine.
Hmm.
Like I think like Harrison Ford has probably had close to the same haircut for like his entire life.
Yeah.
And I think that there's something more lived in and accessible about him. Like I think that's what it is. I think and then there's something subtle there. I mean, it could be in the style
Is
also. It
it
could
just
be
that Harrison Ford is cooler than?
well, that's what I'm saying. I think I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're gonna be talking about personality at this point. Where like
Yeah.
just be a cool
Uh-huh.
guy, and you can wear whatever you want, right? And not to say
Yeah.
that is not cool. I think it's just he's very put together versus like Harrison Ford, who looks like he's fucking tired of everything all the fucking time, you
Yep.
know. But I do think his hair does work for him. I think I couldn't pull it off. I think it's see that's the thing. If I had the very clean hair, but you knew who I was, you'd be like, that seems like you're being normal SpongeBob. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
whole And I think that's what it is. I think if you can find out what it is, and sometimes it is fun to kind of like experiment just a little bit. I think it can be about like the length of your hair. And everything like Chris Pine has kind of changed his hair a little bit. He has like the undercut, he has clean hair. I think he had like the long
he's changed
stuff,
his hairstyle.
but it's not that crazy. I don't think it's not like you're going from like you know like Robert Pattinson, right? Where like he had like a buzz cut and he had he had the bed head in like with Twilight, right? The kind of like that crazy messy hair, and then you went to like the buzz cut when he like finished Twilight. Then I think now he's got like like the kind of like well, it's
Is
not
it the middle
emo-ish. I mean,
part?
I know as like I guess it's kind of like the middle part, right? Yeah, like the kind of like '90s Leonardo DiCaprio kind of thing has come back.
No, he doesn't have that.
Not anymore. It's gone. I guess I'm just thinking
I
of the
don't know if he
Batman.
ever had that.
But
Yeah, I guess
yeah.
he had that in the Batman, but other than that, I don't think
Yeah,
he
if I look
has
up
rocked
Robert
that.
Pattinson, I guess yeah, it's
2023. He just kind of has messy hair.
yeah, but that's the thing. I think it's cool to kind of have some fun with it, and again, it doesn't have to be crazy. Although I don't like the bedhead look. I think that like never really worked. Um, what about facial hair? Really quick here, like, or just in general, like what's like your hair inspo? Like, let's talk about that before we move into our own journeys.
I just grew a beard. I don't know. I looked at I
Well,
looked
well,
at
who did
pictures
you
of all
like? Who
the
did you like? Even
all
just
the all the
independent of
menswear
you.
guys. Yeah, all the menswear guys like Ethan Newton or Jesse Thorne or however many people have pioneered the bald guy with beard look before me. That's just kind of that's just kind of what I did. I shaved my hair before I grew a beard. It wasn't until I don't know a year later or so that I grew the beard in.
Would
And
you
that
ever go
was-
back to bald head and bald face?
I don't think so. I might do mustache or something, but I don't know. That's even kind of tough. I like this look. I like it.
Yeah, maybe you've settled into your thing.
Yeah.
But did you like before that, like even like in high school, did you ever have like, oh, I wish I had this hair or whatever?
Yeah, there was a time where I wanted George Harrison's hair. That was like the first one. If you look up, if there's a photo of him playing a guitar, and the problem is his hair is very thick, and mine was never thick, and so it never.
We're
looked like
talking about
that.
like that shag hair, like middle part
Yeah,
shag.
I'll try
or,
to
like...
I'll try to find the specific photo, but but yeah, there was that, and then I just wanted the very clean cut look. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like like it would be like I've thought about like if I did have hair, it would be fun to do. I would want to probably do a more 70s thing, like the like the like Robert Redford hair or something with a mustache. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean Robert Redford, talk about classic hair,
Yeah, that's
dude.
the exact photo, MJ. That's it. The Cloud9 album cover.
And Robert Redford hasn't changed his hair in kind of a long time. I think since like
Yeah.
it's always been kind of like that kind of like side swept, like side part kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that it's still at this old age, it's still not like gray is kind of awesome for him, I think.
Good for him, honestly.
Damn,
Yeah.
he's a handsome guy. I wish I looked like this. I mean, when I say it, when like yeah, I wonder like when we say like I want to look like him, it's like it's not just your face. It's like you want the face to be the whole head to be transplanted onto you, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, when I was younger, I thought Robert Redford was really good. I've kind of only remembered him from like the '70s stuff. I mean, then I saw kind of like the older photos of him. Um, but like I was never like a Steve McQueen kind of a guy. Like I think that's a little too short, you know, too kind of like that crew cut thing. I think that's not really my vibe at all. Although I'm sure on some guys it can look good. I can't like I'm also aware that I'm Asian. You know what I mean? And if we look at this from like the realm of like Asians through the years of like what the hair they could have because it's so straight and in some cases, you know, kind of maybe thick or whatever, and we don't not always, you know, not everyone has like a high widow's peak.
Yeah.
Like the crew cut I think would look odd on an Asian guy because I feel like it's just too short. But
Yeah.
then like, you know, um I guess yeah, most was kind of like I guess even though the crew cuts kind of I feel like yeah the side part was kind of like a big thing like the 30s you see like an old like you know like immigrant stuff and like or like 30s photos like Chinatown or in LA and stuff like that. Um but I don't think for me mine was never like in pursuit of like a vintage thing. Although I did like seeing some, you know, like of course Clark Gable, but that's more of like a mustache inspo. You
Yeah.
know, I like seeing that. Like I Harrison Ford, obviously Indiana Jones, but like the kind of like that side part, but like there's a little bit more hair there. Um, Chris Pine, obviously I said that, but like even in like the menswear space, I think most of my hair inspo comes from being more contemporary because even though you know you want your style to be vintage, I was like, well, I can't have I still
The
need to
same
look like a
style.
modern guy
Yeah.
because it's kind of like if I'm gonna go full into it and I know I was into it because like I'm not a swing dancer. I don't want to drive a vintage car. I don't want to have like no TV in my house. You know, I don't want to just listen to a phonograph all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like hair was kind of like my personal way of like okay, I gotta keep it. I gotta stay me. Like I gotta be a little bit more self aware with this.
Yeah.
You know, and so my hair inspo was always like yeah, kind of more modern stuff. Um and you know like guys like Matt Woodruff, Ethan Newton I think for the beard was kind of big for me. Guys like come out at the Armory. I'm very you know he gets to have some cool like you know styling of the hair you know with like also like beads and stuff. I think it's cool. Chad Park, obviously Korean guys they change their hair a lot. I think you see that a lot in like you know from like Asian tailors, but Chad Park has had like a different hairstyles. And of course Drake Grantham who has kind of like a kind of like uh, you know wavy or like kind of slightly curly hair.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like all the hair inspo was mainly modern. But when I was younger, it was like Ross and kind of JD, kind of like yeah like protagonist and Ted Mosby, um, and of course Zachary Quinto as Gabriel Seiler
Tyler.
Gray, who has the faux hawk.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I guess you know for a while for me it was kind of like yeah looking at hair from like a very like oh I like this guy I like this character I'm him and
I want
I
to be
want some
him.
of that and then when it came to like modern stuff it was kind of like oh I like seeing how some of these guys either like kind of they weren't contrasting like crazy again people weren't doing like the Dali mustaches but like you know like seeing Ethan Newton with a beard but wearing like clean tailoring or like you know Matt Woodruff who has kind of like crazy hair over at Jay Muser. um you know, I kind of like that more. It kind of spoke to me more than like you know, say like kind of like a sensible. I'm not really like a Mark Cho or like a even like Fred Castleberry, who wears kind of like you know, kind of like just very sensible, you know, slicked, you know, kind of clean hair. It wasn't really for me. But MJ, tell me about what your hair inspo was. Did you have like people that you looked up to as an Asian guy? It's kind of hard out there. You know, again, there's not a lot of Asian you know,
Yeah.
hair representation.
Yeah.
Although there are people that we look too to like for hair inspo. You know, like oh, like anime hair or
Yeah.
whatever.
Speaking of, that's probably exactly it for me. Um,
Really? Okay, that's
yeah,
cool.
because it's like you were saying, like with like, straight Asian hair, there's like so many different variations of like spiky hair and like um up updos, I guess, that you could go
And also
with.
like the down, the kind of like like that scene 2000s Y2K kind of thing
Yeah,
that I guess was popular in like regular white people or non-Asians, but I feel like it is a little bit of like Asian culture a
yeah,
little bit.
at least like I feel like the very stylized versions of it is.
Right, right,
Um,
yeah.
be,
Like whatever you see in like Final Fantasy or whatever.
yeah, because it's not just like brushed. It's like textured, or it's like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
still like
yeah.
product and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
Asian dancers, I don't know if you're like, like
Oh, like
how,
Dietrich's kind of
yeah,
like yeah.
Quest Crew and stuff like that.
Yeah, the
They
kind of like spiky but like off to the side
yeah, because
thing.
they always had like, it was like spiked, but they had like the fringe, um, kind of
Yeah,
like
that's right.
like a wilder faux hawk, I guess, sometimes, stuff like that. I used
Right.
to, in like junior high and stuff, I would look up like like Naruto hair in real life, like, sort of thing. um and like, there's just, I don't know if it's still a thing, but like people would post like hair cutting tutorials on like, for like anime inspired styles. um so it
I think my
was,
number one hair inspo was Homer Simpson in real life.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
you could isn't that what you are
I
though?
could do a Homer Simpson in real life, yeah.
Because
I just need to
because
draw the
that like
three
the
hairs on the top of my head.
yeah, because the dark thing around his mouth is like that is supposed to be
The
like 5 o'clock
5 o'clock
shadow
Five
or a
o'clock
beard.
shadow.
Yeah. So Spencer, you could be yeah. Is that your inspo?
That's my inspo. I saw
What
Yeah,
did
so
like
when did it
like?
become your
this photo right here, and I'm like, I'm gonna look like this.
Oh my god! I
Yeah.
can't put that anywhere. I'm gonna get scared.
Don't look at it for too long.
Yeah.
uh
There's some really scary
but yeah.
real life Homers out there, I gotta say. It's a dark world. Be careful,
Spencer, you gotta
folks.
sit back. There you go.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I have to lean back. I hate computers. I'm not gonna get into this
Yeah.
right now, but I wish Isaac Newton or whoever invented the first computer, probably Isaac Newton.
Isn't
I
the
wish-
Antikythera the first computer? Like
I
the little
guess.
dial. Of destiny.
Yeah, the Dial of Destiny.
the counselor's clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, Counselor's Clock.
Yeah. Get that embroidered somewhere. But yeah, I think it's cool, MJ, that you actually had like Asian inspo because I think what the difference between you and me is that you actually have straight Asian hair to kind of do, and I'll try and find. I'm gonna make Spencer and MJ share the old pictures.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
I gotta
Spencer,
look for
I
them.
like Spencer's hair before with like like he could back when he had hair, it was he could do like the Mad Men, like the kind of very clean like 50s like parted hair.
But it looks like
Um,
season 7 Pete a little bit, so that was the problem.
That is, yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're able to laugh about it now.
Uh-huh.
But no, when I first met you, it was thicker when you were like
I was
17
like
years old.
16,
Or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool that MJ, like, you actually had Asian like inspo. Like, I think it's cool for you because that for me personally, and I've kind of talked about this briefly in like the Asian American episode we did 2 years ago. But like I didn't have that. I had really. I mean, you guys know it. I have like a, kind of like a more wavy, very thick hair that's not it's not very fine, and so people like that now. I think it makes. I mean, it's probably better for me to have a mullet than if MJ wanted to have a mullet because I feel like it would just be flat on MJ.
Yeah,
But
it would have to take
would
a
just
lot
go-
of work, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and so I get that now. This is kind of what I was saying earlier about like having the ability to have expression. Sometimes the answer is just kind of leaning into what you already have, and it doesn't have to be like super sensible. And I'll get into my own journey in a second. But like I feel like that like for me, it was really hard for me to have any kind of true inspo because all of my stuff was like, oh, I want to look like that, but I know I can't. I do not have like whether it's like the Asian dancers and YouTubers like Wong Fu and stuff that that I always like, oh, these guys are cool, or at least they just look nice, like I don't think I was like Spencer where like like George Harrison, like I wasn't like trying to fucking run up a mountain here and like and try and go impossible with like having a shag haircut. But like even like regular stuff, I felt like I couldn't do it because just my hair was just so different, and I didn't find a lot of people who were like me that was like out there. Like someone I remember as a kid, someone maybe that's not true, but like I kind of remember being like not Napoleon Dynamite, but like Nacho Libre, because it's like kind of like curly-ish hair, and my hair was never that crazy, like that kind of big. But like I remember like I don't like that. That's what people like think or whatever, because my hair was just like not, it wasn't just like my clothes. It wasn't what I wanted to look like, and, and unfortunately, it was a cause of like a lot of like self-worth stuff, because like I mean you can change your clothes, you can tailor whatever, you can buy vintage, but you can't really change your hair,
and you can't pick your friend's nose.
Yeah. Before I get into our individuals, what about like facial hair inspo? I know Spencer, you talked about Ethan Newton and everything like that, but when you were younger, did you ever like when you were clean shaven and had more of like the Mad Men hair, would you still like, damn, a beard would be so cool?
Yeah, I don't know. I liked I think I knew that the bald with beard was in my future, and so it was something I talked about before. Well, because but
it's one of those things, right? Like, I'm glad you could have a beard, because if you were bald, no beard, then you'd be
it'd be just a baby face, a thumb,
or that too.
But no, I don't know if I wanted to grow a beard with my hair, but I don't know. It's I've always just liked I never wanted the big long wizard beard. I kind of wanted the more close. I don't know what style this beard would have been worn. Or like when this style of beard would have been worn that I wear. But I remember seeing Benny for a while. He had a beard that was like pretty short and well groomed, which I thought looked good and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just, I wanted it to, I don't want the beard to add so much bulk to my face, I think, is my main thing.
Yeah, I can't imagine you with, like, the kind of more scraggly beard, or, like, the, like, I mean, I think the guys in the workwear scene do it really, really well. Obviously, I think it kind of just fits in, like, the expression of having very, loose, ragged, well-worn clothing makes sense with like just kind of like a beard that's kind of been through a lot, And although I mean, I think it'd be cool if you did try it, if you just kind of grew it out longer, maybe as you get older or something.
Yeah,
kind of cool.
But I mean,
again, you can always cut it. Like that's kind of like the whole the whole point of this is that you can always have fun with like what you've got, and kind of you can always correct if you have to.
But yeah, I like that this, the look that I have going on right now, it works with the more casual stuff that I wear, and if I want to dress up, still looks very clean and professional, so
Yeah, did your beard change a lot over like your way that you've done it? I can't remember.
It's just I got the only thing is I just got clippers and then started I've used the shorter and shorter lengths as time has gone on.
Yeah.
So now I use the shortest whatever guard. I don't know the numbers because I just know what they look like, and I just use that for the sides of my face, and then I use the second shortest guard for like the goatee area. But that's that's what I've been doing for the past like year and a half or something.
Oh, does yours grow out a lot? Like
it does. I have to, like, if I want to maintain it, generally like once a week I have to trim it down, probably if I wanted it to look, I don't know, there are times where I do it like 2 times a week depending on what's going on. But yeah, it does grow in pretty fast, I guess. I've never tried to see how long it'll go. I don't know the limit.
What about the hair on your head? How fast does that grow?
That also goes pretty fast. I don't always do it, but I try to shave it every day in the shower, just because I don't necessarily need to every day, but obviously it's just a lot easier if you do it when it's short, because if it gets too long, then I have to break out the clippers first, and that's pretty annoying.
Did it take you a while to learn how to do this, actually? I don't think we've ever talked about this. Like, what was the process of like going...
Well, the first thing is I went to a barber shop for a little while, because it was still pretty cheap. And I would just have them do like basically a bald fade, you know, where it's like a little bit longer on top and shorter on the sides or something. And then at a certain point, I'm like, why am I even paying like $10 for this? And so I just got a clipper, and then at a certain point, I got a better clipper. But that's basically the learning curve.
Was it? What was your like personal, like your gumption to finally go ahead and do it?
We did an Instagram live proto podcast thing, and then I think it was Warren from MFA was like, you should shave, and I was like, okay. And then I just did the next day, kind of impulsive, but I did it.
Love it.
Yeah,
That's cool. I guess that's a wrap on Spencer right there.
that's a wrap on Spencer.
On
A
his
series
facial
wrap.
hair. Yeah. MJ, to go back to what we were talking about. What about facial hair for you, MJ? What was the do you like it? Like, when you look at something like, damn, that's cool?
So I really only have like my dad and like my grandpa like to look at, because it's like, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because it's hereditary. So
Wait, what? Ari Aster?
that's what the
Yeah.
sequel's gonna be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was just like seeing how they wore it or how it grows out on them and trying to imagine myself with it. Last year I did try to grow it out a little bit. Just like I can only grow like the goatee area. It doesn't really connect the mustache to like the chin. But I tried that for a little bit.
Yeah.
The awkward like middle phase lasts a long time for me, so due to the feedback of friends and family, I decided to just cut the experiment short. But
Damn, they really said stop it.
yeah, they're like that's disgusting. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no.
No, but yeah, just like as far as inspo goes, like my dad, my grandpa, there's like pictures of Bruce Lee with like facial hair. That's probably like the only like outside like inspo or like image to me that it's like, okay, I can see myself with that in context with what I can grow, what I can work with.
What I can cultivate.
Yeah, what I can cultivate on my face. But because like I can't connect like the sideburns like down to the chin. I don't really grow anything like on my
Well, see, you could just do
cheeks,
the
so-
Augie Steenbeck beard then. He has a little mustache that doesn't connect.
yeah, maybe, but again, I would be in that weird like middle phase for
And that's
a
the
while.
thing. That's the phase that sucks. It's hard.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know if I liked the feel for like those couple months that I was growing it out. I don't know. I even like stubble and stuff. I like even after like 2 or 3 days, I shave it because
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. It just
You're not a
feels-
5 o'clock shadow kind of a guy? Stubble?
Not really. Again, it's like it has to be like consistent throughout, right? For it to like be a shadow. So
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Damn.
Imagine if you were born
Ethan-
an hour later, and so you had 6 o'clock shadow.
I was born after 5
Why would it be
PM.
better if you were born?
Because that's when your hair starts growing.
Okay.
At 6?
Yeah.
From when you were born, it depends when you were born.
Well, because it's like, you're not going to get facial hair until you're a teen. And so, you just gotta, if you were born earlier, then you're going to start growing hair earlier.
Yeah.
No, wait, I guess, no, sorry, I'm talking about later because it's 6 o'clock shadow. And then your shadow is late.
I don't think this is the math.
This bit's not
working
working.
out. Yeah,
The math's
yeah.
not math.
Okay.
But I was saying stop it. It's disgusting. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because some people have actually not to bring this back to me as it always does. I think it's funny because people have been like, yeah, your hair inspo. I'm like, that's crazy, dude. Because I don't I don't think of it that way, but I think it is. It does play with the fact that yeah, there's not a lot of like Asians with facial hair, um, and like also like wavy hair at the same time. That's not like you know maybe a K-pop guy, I guess, because they had like the permed hair, like the the curl perm. What do you call it? I don't even know what the terms are for this shit.
But the wavy
the wavy perms,
yeah.
yeah. I feel like that kind of stuff. People are doing that, and I think it kind of just played into me where I'm like, oh, that's just like what my regular hair looks like, and I just kind of fucking did it. But yeah, to kind of go through kind of as the point I've been trying to make, like I think my whole thing has been like to kind of just embrace like what you've got with you and kind of make it a part of your look. And of course, as we said earlier, like that's a little bit about attitude. And I kind of felt like I felt like the hair that I had just didn't match up to um what I wanted to put out there. When I was younger as a kid, I would get kind of like the spiky like Y2K, not like the Asian one because I couldn't, but like just kind of like the like it wasn't like the frosted tip stuff, but it was like just kind of like you put gel in your hair, like, kind of like what a kid would have, But I had that like all through like through middle school, and then when I was older, I kind of just like kind of spiked it, but I didn't put any product because I started to get uncomfortable because like you'd have to put a lot of product to my hair to get it to stay the same way, and so I just kind of had like poofy hair in high school. I mean, to talk about like the nerd with like no hairstyle, like that was me because it was just like whatever. And then when I got to college, that was the height of like Tumblr and everything, and that's when the disconnected undercut was big. I didn't do too many of that, although it would depend. When I told the barber I wanted undercut, sometimes they would disconnect it, and I didn't like that. It'd be too short. But because my hair was so thick and wavy, I would always get very very short on the sides, maybe like a 1 or like a half, and the top would be cut down to like a little bit. And the thing was that it looked fine when I would do like when you would put like pomade or whatever, it kind of like do like a part. But because again it poofs out, it started to get poofy, and it looks weird because like it's like poof on the top and short on the sides, which I guess is also kind of a look now. Like I feel like the kind of like where it's like it's like this, but then on the sides it's like almost nothing. I feel like that's kind of a trendy look. But at the time, I was like even this look that everyone can wear, Asian guys, white guys, everyone doing the fucking undercut, it still looked bad on me. I never liked it, but I was always told that if I grew my hair out, it would look worse. Because I remember high school and it just being... What's crazy is that in high school it didn't look like this, even though right now it looks fucking pretty good. But like, I don't know, maybe like puberty, whatever, changed it. And as a kid, when I was like a baby or toddler, I had straight hair. But as I went through puberty, my hair started to like curl. So it was like my parents had like no idea what to do with it and everything. But the undercut did help when I was into vintage, because I feel like that kind of was like the look of vintage guys, even though again it wasn't like Clark Gable or whatever, where it's still like it's not like it wasn't shaved, but it was just like because he has straight man hair, a white guy hair where it's just like straight and thin. Yeah. Clark Gable maybe not. No, but not. Damn it! Who am I thinking of? Who's the other guy?
Who are you thinking of?
Cary Grant, the one
go.
that he was living with. Shit, who is his partner again? Like the people that like said like, yeah, but
Richard Simmons.
Not, yeah. Neil, was it Patrick Riley? Who's like the Hollywood Squares guy?
I was about to say Jules Verne. That's completely wrong. Jules Verne.
Jules Verne.
We were literally just talking about this guy. What the fuck? Paul Lynde.
No, but the other guy, Neil Patrick Riley, the guy I saw like that guy. Anyway, that's Hollywood Squares too, but whatever. But yeah, I just, because the only way to approximate that look was to get an undercut. Like I kind of just had to do it, even though I knew I didn't like my hair that short and everything. And I over the years I kind of experimented with getting the sides growing out a little bit longer. So instead of getting a half or a 1, I would get like a 2. And that was kind of like my hair for the longest time. You guys remember, like I kind of I just would get like every month or like every like 3 or 4 weeks, as my hair would grow out fast, I would just get the the undercut, or like maybe not like a true undercut like with a crazy fade, but just kind of like a shave the sides a little bit and cut the hair off the top. And it was okay. I experimented with keeping the top a little bit long too, but then that would be kind of weird when it would hang over and it would get really, really curly on the ends, and it would just look really weird. But it was okay. I wore that with vintage. I wore that with menswear, and it kind of worked. You know, it was cleaner than what I was always told the alternative would be because my natural hair is evil. No one's ever said that, but I thought about that.
Evil.
It's the demon.
Yeah, but all of that changed when I remember like seeing a little bit of like Timothy Chalamet or like e-guy stuff, e-boy stuff on TikTok, and it hadn't yet gone mainstream. It was still kind of like a weird niche thing. And I saw, again, Little Women and everything where he has kind of like that middle part. And I was like, that looks like my hair. Like in my head, I'm like, that looks like what my hair would look like if I just grew it out. And after seeing Little Women in 2019 or whatever, I was like, I'm just gonna keep it. I'm not gonna get a haircut. I'm just gonna keep going, and I would just part it. And after that first day, kept it there forever, and that's it. It just was like that, and I just kind of crept it out. And of course, the pandemic happened, where we couldn't get haircuts very often, and so I kind of like leaned into like the longer hair look. It when it gets to, I can share some photos of me in the pandemic where it was the longest it's ever been, and it's not that bad. I don't think I like super long hair because I get kind of like a weird like skin sensitivity thing where like if I feel it like on my ears and the back of my neck too much. So like I am at the time of recording, even though this is coming out in 2024, I just got a haircut for Halloween. That should date this episode of where this is.
We said that earlier in the episode. It's okay.
Yeah. But the current length I think that you guys have probably seen me is like fine now. I don't part it right in the middle. I kind of have it off to the side, just kind of have like one a little bit longer. And it's kind of like, I don't know what you would call it. Yeah, it's kind of like a side part, side swept, maybe like a 3/4 part kind of a thing. It's not super clean. It's not like a salary man because I do keep it long. And here's the biggest kicker that people are always surprised about. There is no product in my hair at all.
Wow.
Talk about oily, greasy hair. It's the natural oils of my head.
Nice.
That kind of keep it in place. Which is kind of hard because whenever I do get a haircut, we know they rinse your hair and wash it. Even if you put soap in they do use soap. Even if you put shampoo and even conditioner, it takes a little while for my hair to get the oils back. So until then, it's like right now it's a little bit drier and the curls are way more pronounced because of how much drier it is. But once the oils come back after a little while, it gets to kind of like what you guys expect from me. And I love my hair. I think it fits me. I think it can work professionally. I think it can work for the slouchy aspect, especially in the summertime or if we're doing something, if we're out, like, at, if there's, it's warm or if we're dancing or whatever, it gets kind of messy and really cool. And I love it. I like that my hair is slouchy and it really fits me. And to go back to again what we were talking about with Spencer about like the best hair or whatever, I don't think that the undercut, even if that's fine, even though like I look, classically handsome, it frames my face. It's not, the undercut that I had wasn't too bad. I feel like it just didn't really fit what my vibe was, and it's so nuanced. I don't think anyone off the street could probably tell the difference, or they probably could tell I'm like the same nerdy guy with the undercut. But when I have the messy hair, it just fits things better. Just like I think like same thing with like MJ and the blonde hair. I think there's something about that just affects his vibe more. And something with Spencer, like the way that you have your beard now, kind of like, okay, this is it. Like you don't have to like it's not a goatee, right? Or it's not you're awarded your expression with these things. And I'll close by talking about my mustache. Now this is the biggest part here. So Spencer, of course, had the beard before I did. And I liked Milsurp. I still wear Milsurp with tailoring every once in a while. I wear my casual clothes. I've been around a lot of vintage guys who like beards. We have got, like Rob over at Joyride has had beards and mustaches over different times we've known him. Lots of vintage guys. Again, we've said Benny, there's Damien Montevice, and of course the contemporary guys, Ethan Newton, Tony Sylvester, and our guys on our Discord like Philip or whatever, who have the bald and big beard kind of a thing. And I think a part of me was like, you know what, like, I think I could do it because I think over the years, I would always, I'd shave every once in a while. I really like the 5 o'clock shadow, and the thing is, I noticed that it did grow on my cheeks.
Whoa.
That was the biggest kicker, where I was like,
Yep.
It's not just the Fu Manchu goatee thing going on here that I had when I was a kid, where it would mainly grow, and I would shave that in like high school. I was like, wait a minute, the cheeks. I could feel I could feel hairs here. And so I was like, you know what? I bet you if I grew a beard, it would be fine. I feel like 'cause it would, and based on, me shaving, I knew that it grew in relatively evenly, and again, on the cheeks, the chin, and the mustache area. And so my ex-girlfriend at the time was like, hey, I like beards. I'm like, oh, fine, I want to do it. And I did it, and even though I had it with like the undercut or whatever, it felt very modern. Um, it looked good. And the thing is, it made it a little bit different. I know that, again, not a lot of Asian guys can grow facial hair. There's guys like Denny623, I think, on Instagram. He's Filipino. Shout out Danny. He has like kind of like that goatee, like, or he has like the mustache and soul patch, which I think is very common for Filipino men with the mustaches. It's usually mustache, soul patch,
Yeah.
maybe a goatee, because not many people can grow the full beard. But it looked really good on him. I remember seeing him like way back when. I know he's been a blogger for over a decade. But like I was very surprised that I could grow the whole thing, and having the full beard again, like Ethan Newton or like Spencer, I was like, this is like, I don't want to be like a pick me, but like it felt like a very different, especially compared to like other Asian, um, you know, classic menswear guys. Like Arnold Wong, Alan C from the Armory. These guys would have mustaches. Ryutaro from Bryceland's, it's all mustaches, but the full beard, the full, again, with the cheeks, mustaches, everything was like different. And I did that for a long time. I did that since like, maybe like 2018, 2019. And even when my girlfriend broke up, I'm like, I look too good now to like remove it. It felt, again, it just gave me more to work with than just my natural face. And you can see my face. It wasn't like, it didn't grow out long. It wasn't like a wizard beard or anything. It didn't like really do anything except other than just kind of just provide some contrast to my face. I think that's something cool with a beard. Like you have that darkness that kind of like, again, evokes a framing to your facial features. And I like that, again, as someone who wears spear point collars. I like the way it kind of follows the lines of the negative space between lapels. I think it kind of works in that way with like again, the facial hair. And I did it for a long time. And it was during the pandemic where I think I got COVID for the first time. No, I forgot what it was exactly. But I was like, you know what? I kind of want to try a mustache. I want to feel like I can control something. And I did it once. This is around right before Thanksgiving. And this is only last year. This is only 2022. I shaved to a mustache and I didn't like it. I thought it was too much. I think it was like the first time I had seen like my like bare face and my lips, like there's nothing framing my face. And so I wore the mustache for like 1 or 2 days, and I was like, nope, and I shaved the whole thing off. And I kept it like that. You can see, I think, no, maybe it's even before that, because I think during Halloween I was clean shaven, and so I did that for a little bit. But what I didn't like was that my slouchy and very long wavy hair didn't match my clean shaven face, and you would think it kind of would have, because I feel like a lot of e-boys and now TikTok, all the guys doing middle parts, I think it worked, but I think there was something missing from it. Maybe I just don't like the way it looked, or maybe I just liked facial hair. But then I was like, what, I'm gonna do it again. So I started growing my beard out, and then I was like, I'm gonna once it grew in, I was gonna shave off the beard and do the mustache, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stay true and stay here.
Yeah.
And then I did, and I kept it, and here it is now. I have a mustache. It is
Here to stay.
Folks,
it is
he's got a
the
mustache.
classic. Yeah, it's the Ethan look now. I mean, what sucks is that now I can't have like a thing where like if I have a picture of me now and a picture of me back in 2020, it'll be different. I won't be like, oh, I look the exact same for 5 years, but I still think the same vibe is there, and I think the mustache is cool. And just like my hair, just like the beard, I do not put any product into my mustache or beard at all. I'm sure some mustache adherents will be like, that's crazy, man. You gotta like, put pomade or whatever. But because my hair is so curly and it's so thick and everything, I feel like, messing with the natural shape of my facial hair would be bad, I think, Even when I had a beard, again, it never grew too far, and I would just trim it. I would just use scissors. I didn't even use a guard. I would just, trim with scissors and just kind of like, if it was like sticking, I would just, I don't want it to stick out too far. And same thing with the mustache, where I kind of trim maybe at the edges a little bit. I don't want, obviously you can't have it above your lip. That's weird, like it's got to be at the right area. But I like it now. It kind of fits, and what the cool thing now is that it works with the variety of looks that I do now. I think before with the beard, I think it was fine, but I definitely felt it was a little bit too like, oh, you're the bearded guy with a suit, you
Oh, you're
know,
the
like
beard
it's
man?
yeah, it's very like I mean, there's a whole thing of like the Ethan Newton, like the tattooed beard guy with a suit. That's again, that's cool, but I felt like it was a little too rugged. I think looking back, I mean, maybe someday I'll go back, but with the mustache, I feel like it's just enough facial hair where like it's slouchy, still cool, kind of not like maybe not rugged, but just kind of again, kind of like it's got an attitude, but it's still clean, you know. And there are some days where I grow up my 5 o'clock shadow because I'm lazy or I forget, and I kind of have like a more like Henry Cavill mustache from
Fallout.
Fallout, which I think is iconic. Um, but sometimes I have the mustache with 5 o'clock shadow and I have like longer hair. I think it looks kind of weird. I think the reason why Henry Cavill looks good is because his hair is kind of kept kind of nice and tight and like kind of short on top. But yeah, but nowadays, you know, I have like, you know, maybe 1 or 2 days of like stubble, then I'll shave it all off. And sometimes I lean into it, but like when I shave, I have like a cleaner suit look. And then sometimes when I have like 5 o'clock shadow, the mustache, I'll wear it, you know, with like a t-shirt or like with like workwear or something. But right now, I feel like it's the fucking look. I like it a
What's the
lot.
look?
Um, I know this is a little bit late to say this, but I briefly just thought, what if I shave it to a pencil mustache, like
Oh
Clark
man.
Gable or something? And I got the clipper. I was
You
like
were so
going
close.
down, and I was like, no, I'm like, I can't, because if it's bad, then it's bad, dude. Like I can't, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, maybe I'll do that, and then I'll just shave off again and just regrow it. And the good thing is, maybe this is why it's a good thing for me. My hair grows back pretty fast, so
There
it
you go.
doesn't.
Yeah,
I
the
can
difference
really
between
experiment.
a good haircut and a bad haircut is 2 weeks.
That's right. And
Yeah.
so, well, yeah. I mean, facial hair, I just start back from zero, right?
Yeah.
You just go up, and then the whole thing goes, and then you can mess it up. I
Hmm.
mean, but yeah. So overall, I like it. And again, I think it fits my style really really well. I can't imagine having any other hairstyle. And again, the cool thing about my hair is that I can kind of do almost anything, but with the way it is, the middle part or the side part ish, 3/4, with like the wave and the perm and everything that's natural to myself, kind of just fits everything that I want it to, and it works with all my outfits, tailoring, Ivy or whatever. And if I think about, you know, our previous conversation about like what I want to look like and how I want to come off, and kind of wanting to be this kind of like intellectual. I know I hate to say it, but like, you know, the kind of like, you know, I like to write music. I like it to fit there. And when you see photos of like Leonard Bernstein conducting, his hair is messy and it's really cool, you know, or like just like guys reading and like artists and just um having this kind of like, you know, kind of a fun factor to my hair that has always been there that I shouldn't have been afraid to do. Um is just proof that I think that we all, you know, we can all find that within ourselves and find whatever that is, that whatever the iconic look is for us. And like our style, like the 1930s or Ivy, it's not anachronistic. It's just we just found what we like, and I think that that's
Mhm.
the best part of this, you know. And hey, maybe in 10 years we'll have another retrospective on our hair, but
Who
I have a
knows?
small feeling Spencer and I are going to be the same, but maybe
Yeah.
MJ will have a different color in his hair.
What if I go
We'll see.
bald on my face too?
Unfortunate, Spencer. I'm
What if,
sorry.
what if you have alopecia?
Yeah, I develop adult onset alopecia.
It's a caterpillar. Oh, that's my eyebrow.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Something we didn't talk about that I maybe just really briefly here. What about? I know MJ's already done it, but Spencer, dyeing your beard.
No. No, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think so.
I kind of want to dye my hair, and it's by kind of I mean like it's like a 10%. It's not even
Yeah.
anything big.
10%
like-
of a day.
Because nowadays, but like now when people dye their hair, like it's kind of like it is kind of scummy in a sense, where like the head hair doesn't match the facial hair, and I think that's kind of a cool look. But it also does feel kind of TikToky at the same time, you know.
Mhm.
Like when guys have like green hair with like, you know, like a black or brown beard, I'm like, it feels a little too like, it feels too much like you're like a TikToker, podcaster, influencer kind of a guy.
I hate podcasters.
Yeah. MGO, what was the blonde thing? Like, did you talk about that real quick? What was like the journey to being blonde?
Oh, I always wanted like different colored hair. I mean, it's like it's totally the anime, K-pop, J-pop like inspo. You know, once I like found out that you could just like do it at home, I bought just like a home kit and did it, and it turned out pretty decent. So just kept
Yeah.
doing it. It's, I don't know, it's fun.
Yeah, I like it. You know, when like I know maybe this is not your intention, but like when the black roots kind of come in, I kind of like that look when it's kind of like kind of fades out a little bit.
Yeah.
It just, you know, it feels natural. I mean, I have photos of you where it's like it's bright, man.
Yeah.
It's yellow.
I kind of leaned into like the two-tone look because I don't know, I always get my hair on the sides like cut really short, right? And my hair grows
Oh, so when it grows
yeah,
out,
my hair grows really fast, so I was like, I'll just, you know, I'll just save like the extra bleach, you know, and I mean it also just looks better when it's like when it grows out a little bit on the sides instead of like being like slightly blonde and then you see the black hair come in. So yeah, that's why I just started doing the top now. So it just looks more cohesive, I guess.
What's your you should dye your dome.
Okay.
Just
like the little stubble.
It's just a
on
highlight.
top.
It's just a highlight on his
That might be
scalp.
actually
do
really sick. I don't know. I feel like that would just make it look like my head is like glowing like purple or something.
I don't think
bit.
that's good for your
Purple guy?
scalp.
It's probably not.
Yeah.
But when have I ever cared about what's good for my scalp?
It always comes back.
Yeah, you should sleep.
I abuse my scalp. I'm
You should take a nap and put your head on the watch that has the most radium on it.
Oh, I should do that.
Cook it.
I should just like get a bunch of radium watches and sew it into my pillow.
Just your pillowcase is just.
You wake up, you've got like crazy tumors or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, we talk about hair. We're talking about skin next, baby. Let's
Yeah,
go.
I'm gonna grow a tumor that's shaped like hair, and that's gonna be just gonna paint it black.
That sounds like a
Don't look
SpongeBob
that up.
episode.
It's actually a new SpongeBob episode. I'm writing it now.
Sad Squidward.
Sad Squidward.
Clown Squidward.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this conversation about hair. I know it's not really a bunch of anything, but it's hopefully enough to get you guys thinking about how you guys think about your hair and finding your hairstyle. I mean, I think everyone in the Discord has great hair, both facially and on their head, and I think it really works with their style. Like JTR has good stuff. I mean, Philip we've already mentioned. I mean, Jason, right? Jason dyes his hair too, and it's like I think it really works with his vibe as well. But yeah, I think everyone should think about hair like this. I think it's fun, and especially if you can afford yourself some ways to experiment with it again by dyeing it. I mean, I know we said like, oh, I already have the natural perms in my hair, but I know like Matt, I think got like the straight perm or the curl perm hair or whatever, and he looks really good with it. I think naturally he has some good hair too, but you know, there's always some fun stuff you can do with your hair and how it plays into your outfit. I think it's not really about like, I don't think you have to like match your hair to your outfit, but I think it's kind of fun to think about how it impacts each other. You know, I think I kind of do that too. Does that happen with you guys? I mean, I guess Spencer, you don't really change anything. But what about you, MJ? Do you change your outfit to your or you know your hair to your whatever? Because you actually change your hair to your outfit. Like you put gel or whatever in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the like the edgier outfits, like I like to, you know, like the spike or like the, you know, more quote unquote anime looking hair, and then like I can still do like the side part or the middle part for like more like, you know, softer somber looks, I guess. So it's like, you know, and then of course the, you know, the opposite of that where you just kind of subvert, where it's like, you know, wearing more of a menswear fit, and then like the spiky hair is like a cool like dichotomy, I guess.
Yeah, I like that juxtaposition of that stuff. I don't really spike my hair, but I know like sometimes when I have like shorter hair, when I get a haircut, obviously it's a bit neater because there's less of my crazy hair to deal with. I think leaning into some kind of some of the cleaner looks or whatever makes sense for me. And then when it's long, obviously I think I play into it more. Like when it's kind of more long, I do like, oh, I think it looks good with like a t-shirt or casual clothing. But then also there is like, when I feel like wearing a suit and I know it's gonna get really nice and messy and curly when we're out moving around. I like that juxtaposition as well. But yeah, I don't know if anything else is gonna change for me. I think I found my hair forever. And the cool thing is that my grandpa has my hair, my lolo.
There you go. Yeah.
So it's kind of like and he also still has hair. So I'm like, hell yeah, I stay winning, baby. Knock on wood, nothing's gonna happen. I'm not gonna get adult onset alopecia.
On my dad's side, they all have hair except for my uncle. He is bald, but my dad and my dad has a pretty thick head of hair, and my grandpa had a thick head of hair until the end. It's my mom's side. They fucked me over. My grandpa on my mom's side.
I mean, that's
18 too.
That is how that works.
I know,
right?
That's how it is. I'm just mad about it.
Oh, I guess that makes sense because my mom's side has the curly hair and the full head of hair. My lolo. It's funny because my mom always. I mean, she was a child of like the 80s and 90s where, I think by the 90s she was like an adult and she straightened her hair a lot. And I think when she became a professional, she was kind of I don't know if I would have the word ashamed. I don't think my mom was ever like that, but she did straighten her hair a lot. But like I think now she kind of lets the curly stuff happen every once in a while. I think that's good. I think it's again, I think people try and find a hairstyle and they kind of like manipulate a lot and like they stay with it. I think that's fine if that's what you like, but I think it's also good to kind of find out what really is your natural hair and find out like there's a reason why you have it, and I think it's cool to play into it. Again, like Spencer, like if he didn't have a beard, I don't think that means he has to get plugs to get a beard. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he had to do that. Just like with me, I don't have to straighten my hair. I did that once as a high schooler, and it did not look good because it looked like it was dried out on my hair. But yeah, and I have a round face too. I feel like overly straight hair with this round. I think the curls kind of. I mean, hey, maybe that's God, right? The curls, the waviness. I have a round face. There's round stuff everywhere. Round balls.
There's round stuff everywhere.
Round balls.
But yeah, I think the secret. It's been really fun to kind of just kind of lean into what's natural for me. But of course, again, MJ and dyeing the hair and everyone else. I think there's always a way to find out what really works, and I think it's fun to experiment with. But poly, like everything, just like with menswear, do it early where the social stakes are less, because it's kind of hard if you were trying to experiment and you have a date with someone you've never met before and
you decide to dye your hair.
That'd be good. Yeah. So yeah, have fun with hair. It's fun, and I think menswear right now it's been really cool to see a lot of different versions of it. It's not like before where everyone had the same hair or everyone has a crew cut or whatever. There's a lot of good hair inspo out there, and sometimes you're your own hair inspo. So, but thank you guys for listening. Don't forget you can support the podcast at patreon.com/styleanddirection. It gets the lights on. It gives us not a lot of money because it's whatever. It's also nice if you do. Yeah, again, we make these episodes for you guys, for us also. It's more for us, and you guys just happen to be able to listen to it. But yeah, $5 a month gives you access to our backlog of bonus episodes, which are all about movies. Got a lot of stuff for 2024, a lot of great movies to talk about. Public Enemies. We still haven't decided if Indiana Jones. I think Indiana Jones might be on the main line because that's a big one that I think that everyone should deserve to hear. But there's always some stuff that people should listen to and watch for movie stuff. There's also access to our Discord community, which is full of really great people where we all talk about this stuff in greater depth, and they also help us talk about these episodes to kind of help us with some thought starters. So that's really cool. But $10 a month gives you access to both of those things. Plus, we thank you personally. MJ, who are we thanking?
We are thanking our sidecast fanatics, who are Shane Curry, Philip Gregard, Henrik Wilberg, and Alexander Batten.
We appreciate you guys so much for that $10 a month. You can follow this Instagram of the podcast where we post a lot of inspo at Style and Direction. You can follow me at Ethan M. Wong.
I'm at Spencer DSO.
I'm at MJ.
And we will see you guys in the next one. Happy 2024, everybody.
That's right. New Year.
Bye-bye.